Welcome to episode 27 of the Your Mind Podcast. So today I'm going to talk about, it seems relevant because Christmas is coming up and New Year is coming up, the New Year, New Me. And I say it like that because it's got a bit of a negative, well, it can have a bit of a negative feeling to it. I guess that's because a lot of people say New Year, New Me, and this year's going to be my year, and then actually it's just their life on repeat. They just live the same year as they did the year before, and nothing changes, nothing gets better, they don't do anything differently, or the things they thought they were going to change fizzle out very quickly, and they just resume, go back to old habits, old behaviours, etc. Now, that's all quite alien to me, actually. So it's funny that I still have that thinking. It's quite relevant to this podcast, right? I still have that thinking that in some ways, I suppose because so many people are all fart and no poo. They're all talk and no action. They talk about it, but they don't do anything. But actually, it's funny because I sit here now and that just isn't me. It never has been. And that isn't my clients either. When we say we want to do something, we do it. Or we just don't say we're going to do it. But there must be, I can't think in this moment, there must be things that there are of course habits that come back, or negative habits you kind of want to get rid of that can stick around, things like drinking or whatever. That's not my thing, but so yeah, actually I guess what I'm saying here is that there's probably a mix. The people I tend to work with aren't people that sit around crying, playing the victim, wondering why their life is shit, but yet not doing anything about it. But actually, it probably wouldn't be fair to say that they can do everything they ever want to do in the click of a fingers. Don't know where this podcast is going today, but there is a point to this. I'm just so my point here, right? First. This is going really wild. First thing is, in Jan, I'm actually doing a free 28-day program. I might actually run it month for month. I don't know yet. I have no fucking idea. It depends how good it is. And to be fair, actually, even as I say this, clearly I hadn't thought about this. I probably won't run it more than once. But Jan starts on the 3rd. If you're interested, if you've listened to my podcasts, watched my videos, or I don't know if you watch me on YouTube or listen to me somewhere, you've listened to my stuff, it makes sense. You feel like the things I'm saying, that they make sense to you. Maybe I communicate in a way that you hear. Maybe the examples I give make you feel like, holy shit, this guy's similar to me, or his clients sound like me, or whatever it is, right? If you like listening to this, you feel different, it's helped you in some way, but you want to take this further, you want to see, how do I actually take this and integrate this into my life? How do I change my life? I don't know what it is that you're not happy with, right? Maybe you are snapping at loved ones. Maybe you feel lost. Maybe you overthink. Maybe you feel stressed, anxious, overwhelmed. Maybe you feel like you should be happier and you're just not. Maybe you feel like you've got a lot of the things that should make you happy, but yet you don't appreciate them as much as you want. Maybe you feel like you don't understand yourself, your own thoughts, your own emotions, and you're riding this roller coaster. Or you just want to know why you do what you do, think the way you think, or what makes you tick. Maybe you want to create more in your life, right? You want to do more than what you're currently doing. But you know that you need to, or you know that the more you understand yourself, the more you know yourself, the more you can perform in your life, the better your life's going to get. Maybe it's a mix of all those things. I don't know, because I'm, just going off the top of my head here. If any of this makes sense, if any of this sounds true, if any of these podcasts have landed for you and you think, I want to, even if you're just curious, you think, I'm interested, I'm curious, I have no idea what this means or where this is going to go or even what's on offer or how does this even fucking work? What is this life coaching thing, or what is this shit that James seems to do? Then this might be for you. So what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description. If you're on YouTube, it'll be in the description. If you're in iTunes, I think it's, or podcast, whatever, it'll be below somewhere. Don't know about Spotify. Just fucking find it. Find me. Email me. Find me on Facebook. Do whatever you need to do if you want to be in it, right? You'll find me if you need to. And yeah, starts on the 3rd of Jan, 28 days. It is group coaching. So it's Zoom calls. You've got access to like a specific app as well. So off Facebook and all that stuff, away from WhatsApp and away from distractions, more focused around like-minded people, which sounds shit, right? I know that. I've come into these groups before and I think, who are these dickheads that are going to be in this program? They're not going to be like me. And then I'm always pleasantly surprised by the type of people. There's something really quite powerful about seeing other people that and relationships are built that way. And you see these other people like you doing well or doing whatever they're doing, and yet they're similar to you. There's such a power to it. It's amazing that I put myself off from it for so long. So I'm actually quite a introverted person. Most people aren't my people, honestly. They're just, I still like them, but I'm just not that interested in talking about a lot of the shit. I like deep conversations. I like growing. I like evolving. I like being more. I love creating an awesome life. I feel like, for me, I didn't want a mediocre life. I didn't want to settle for this average life. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it doesn't make me feel alive. I love the excitement, the adventure, the adventures of doing different things. Even when you do stupid shit, right? You spend too much on this or that, and then you go, oh, well, that was shit, but at least now I know. There's still something fun about the exploration of achieving something, creating something, doing something, holidays, weekends away, the kids, whatever it is. I like adventuring, exploring, not necessarily across the globe, but just in general life. You know, what happens if I do a fucking podcast? Or what happens if I do a group program? Or what happens if I do a retreat? Or what happens if I go away for the weekend and we go to wherever we go? Or like, you know, what happens if I write a book? Or what happens if I just this playful, fun, explorative, but coming from this place of, I love growing, I love evolving, I love being better today than I was yesterday. I love seeing my relationship change and improve, my parenting change and improve, my friendships deepen, my communication get better, my emotional intelligence, my understanding of humans and myself. I just love this progression, and it never ends, which is such a beautiful thing. You know, it's like you just keep getting better and better and better and better, and it's like you're climbing this ladder of consciousness where you don't necessarily get anywhere, because that can be a trap, trying to get somewhere. That can turn it into an egoic chase of this, when I get here, or how I'm not good enough yet, or whatever. But with every step of the ladder, life gets better. And it gets better in ways that my clients can't even comprehend. They don't often even know why they're coming to me. They know what they don't want to feel. They know the ways in which their life isn't how they want it to be. They know they just say, James, what you said in your video, it just resonated. And they don't even necessarily know what they want, but enough has been said for them to say, kind of, show me the way, sort of thing. Like, show me, what have you got for me? Where does this fucking go? What's on offer? And so much more is on offer than they first realize, because we often can't see what we can't see. We often can't see ourselves. Sometimes my clients' relationships have improved, and they say, I didn't even know it was a problem. I didn't even know there was a problem in my relationship, or I didn't even know it could be better than it was. Or their business grows, or they make new decisions, or whatever. Sometimes someone said to me, I didn't even know I was stressed. I didn't think I was stressed. Looking back, you know, not being able to sleep, or I remember there's one time I thought I was going to have a heart attack, high blood pressure. But it was just so normal to him that he didn't see it. And sometimes we just can't see ourselves. It's like that shit phrase that makes sense, which is, you can be the best hairdresser in the world, but you can't cut your own hair. It's like, because you can't see ourselves from... Anyway. So, where am I going with this? I'm pausing for a second, because I'm sitting here thinking I really shouldn't take on any more one-to-ones. I never have space, and then I fit people in sometimes, and I just don't think I can do that right now. So that's why the group exists, because it's like, well... Actually, I found the group can create just as good results. It's a different experience, but for the right kind of person, it's perfect. And some people then go on to do one-to-one. But let's just take that off the table, because I really need to get better at not giving up so much of my time when I'm already packed to the fucking max. So join the group program if this resonates, right? And then let's move on from this, because I've spoken about this longer than I wanted to. now you can enjoy listening to me sip my green tea. So the reason this is quite an interesting conversation is, why is it that humans don't change, or don't change as much as they'd like? Or some people don't change at all. Some people seem to be the same person now as they was 10 years ago, making the same mistakes, doing the same stupid shit. Maybe you see that in yourself. Maybe you've been talking about not drinking for years and here you are. Or maybe you've been talking about getting in shape for years and yet here you are. Or maybe, there are certain things. We're very good at putting up with shit. Maybe you've been a miserable bastard for so long and it annoys you, but you haven't done anything about it. Or maybe you've listened to my podcast for years thinking I really should find a way of working with James, but yet here we are. Like, there's no blame in that. There's no shame in that. It's just an interesting exploration as to why. And how does human transformation really work? Because you probably get a sense with me that it's about simplicity and it's about actual transformation. I'm not interested in the shiny shit. So you're not going to get all these fucking journal questions and 15 meditations and like visualizations, and we can all sit around mentally masturbating and chanting, or I'm not going to give you the 7 secret sizzling steps to fucking whatever bullshit. You see all this marketing stuff, right? It's all shiny shit. It's all hyped up ego bollocks. It's all cleverly written, designed to create fear and desire and make you essentially pay me £1 million, or whoever it is that's writing it, right? None of this is shiny shit because it doesn't need to be. Human transformation is remarkably simple. Remarkably simple. Maybe that's why I do well. I don't know. Maybe that's why they pay me the big bucks. They don't pay me the big bucks. I could definitely receive more money. So if you want to, send me a blank check, go for it. But no, maybe that's why I do well, right? Maybe that's why people get results. Maybe that's why I don't struggle for clients, because I have a very simple approach to it. And I don't even think for a moment that's because I'm so remarkable. I think that, I happen to have fumbled my way through and struggled with a ton of shit and spent thousands on courses and mentors and books and coaches and largely through doing a lot of the shit that didn't work, a lot of the war within my own mind, the confusion, the overwhelm, feeling like a fraud because I couldn't hack my own state, doing all the stupid shit, the wrong shit and the crap that didn't work has allowed me to find simplicity. And I've had some really awesome coaches and teachers as well that have pointed me to this simplicity. And it just so happens to fit in with my personality as well, who I am at a core level is someone that values simplicity. Even though my thinking mind can overcomplicate the shit out of everything, let me assure you, I can overthink and, why say something in a sentence when I can spend how long? 13 minutes talking about it, right? My brain can do that, which is probably why the simple approach works so much. So let me get to the point and turn this into something that's probably more useful for you. How transformation works is via our thinking. If you haven't listened to my podcast and got this yet, then that's cool. Go back and listen to all of them again, because you'll hear something new. With every time I say it for the 500th time, you might hear it differently. And if you go back and listen, you might hear every episode differently to what you heard the first time. Sometimes people say, oh, I didn't get it then, but I get it now. Or they go, oh, now I get what you're saying. I thought I got it, but now I really get it. And that's because we you're hearing my words via your ears, I assume. I don't know how else you can hear them. But my words are being translated into your thoughts in some ways. Your thoughts about what I'm saying. And your mind drifts off into its own little jabbering around whether that's right, that's wrong. Oh, that's similar to me. And oh, that sounds like me. And this is similar to that time that this happened. So everything is experienced via our thinking. And if we have a new thought, we then can have a new behavior, which then creates a new result. That's really simple. That's the crux of it. Is that the right word? I've never used that word. That's the core of it, right? If you think, for example, that the world is full of opportunity, then your actions are going to reflect that, and then your results are going to reflect that. I've seen that many times. My clients, it's like they see the world full of potential possibility, and they have no problem creating new businesses, new ideas, new streams of money, new income, new jobs, whatever it is. Well, given their thinking, it's obvious to them to do the things that they do. Now, I've spoken to people that see the world as this really, it's poor, there's no money, all they've ever done is struggle for money, they can't make any money, you can only get paid this much an hour, or whatever it is. I've certainly been there as well. And in fact, honestly, I tend to lean more towards that end of the spectrum than the opportunity spectrum. That's a work in progress for me. I had to unpick a whole ton of poverty thinking from growing up with no money and never having any money and working my ass off and still having no money and etc. But that's interesting, right? Because I was viewing the world through a certain set of thinking, which meant my behaviours were a certain way. So I've seen it. If someone's struggling for money, they will then doubt themselves, question the prices they're putting out. Then they'll think, shit, they're not going to pay it. Then they reduce their fees because they think, oh no, actually I need to charge less because I need the money, and they're not going to pay it. And then all of a sudden they're kind of discounting, which means they're not earning as much as they should. They're getting kind of paid a lot less than they should, a lot less than everyone else in their field or industry, and then they're struggling for money. So you see the self-perpetuating kind of cycle there. You see that they're creating their own reality but don't know they're doing it. Some people do, some people don't. They'll say, well, no, it's because I've got no money, so I needed to. No. It starts with your thinking, then turns into behaviours, which then turns into actions, which then turns into results that feeds back into the thinking. Now, that's just one example. If you think your wife is a dick, or your husband's a dick, or whatever, then that's going to have an impact, right? If you think that you're shit at what you do, that's going to have an impact. If you think that this challenge that James has spoken about sounds shit, so I'm not going to do it. Cool. How do you know? If you think it sounds shit, you're just not going to go. And if you don't go, you're not going to change your life. It's that simple. You can believe the thoughts, or you can go, actually, what if I'm wrong? What if it's really fucking awesome? What if it's the best thing I've ever done? I don't know. Who knows? I don't even know because we're not there yet. I can't tell you that because it's like the 22nd of December and it doesn't start until the 3rd. Ask me on the 3rd or ask me on the 4th once we've done the first call. Then I'll tell you if it's shit or not, right? Because that's the thing with our thinking, is it presents itself as truth. It presents itself as fact. It presents itself as reality, but it isn't reality. It's a prediction. It's a guess. It's a lie sometimes. At best, it's a potential prediction based on the past. So based on evidence, well, no, this always happens. Well, no, it doesn't always happen. It's just always happened up until now. That doesn't mean it can't change. Just because the sky is always blue. I mean, one day we might wake up and it be red. I don't know how that can happen, but it could be a possibility, right? I don't know how. I'm now thinking, how would that happen? If someone comes and sprays red gas, I don't know, fuck knows. That might have been a bit too extreme as an example, but that's the point, right? So the first thing we need to see is that our thinking is dictating our life. It's dictating our world, our perception, our views, our beliefs. It's all thinking. It's all thought. I just call it thought because it's easier to... It all goes in that same basket, right? It's like whether it's an Aston Martin, a Ferrari, a Dacia Sandero, they're cars. We can chuck them into that one thing. That's what they are. They've got 4 wheels. They have engines. They drive their cars, right? Electric, hybrid, doesn't matter. They're cars. Beliefs, values... perceptions, etc. It's all thought. It's all perceived via our thinking. It's all created via our thinking, actually. We think that we're viewing the world, but we're viewing our thoughts about the world. So if we see that, that's cool. Now we've got some invisible thinking. We have like 60,000 thoughts a day. I don't know who counted. Mine feels like about 90,000 fucking thoughts. We don't see all of them. We see some of them. We see the ones that we think are important, like when you buy a new car and you see that car everywhere. It's because your brain now thinks that's important. So we tend to see the same thoughts on repeat because we've made them important. Whether that's good thoughts, that I'm fucking awesome and I can create money out of thin air and I'm a fucking great coach and I'm never short of clients. Well, they might be useful thoughts to have, and I might consistently see them because I've made them important, knowingly or unknowingly. Or they can be negative. I'm shit at what I do. I'm poor. I look like a twat. My hair's everywhere, which it is. Whatever, right? And if for some reason I had insecurities about my hair or my perception or my appearance, and they would present themselves, and I would see them consistently. So what I'm pointing to here is we tend to have kind of stale, repetitive thoughts, and sometimes we have repetitive thoughts that are useful. Either way, it's just thinking. Either way, it's made up. Either way, we are making it up. But then we have thoughts behind the scenes sometimes. We don't know that we think something. This is the value in coaching. This is the value in even being in this conversation with me, even though it's kind of my voice talking to your thoughts and you can't interact with me. It's still a conversation. This is the value of group coaching or the programs I do, right? And this isn't a massive pitch for me, by the way, although if it was, it's quite a good one so far. So that's cool. Is sometimes we don't know what we think. You know, I ask simple questions sometimes. They're stupidly simple. And then people go, oh, fuck. I haven't thought about that before. Or, I don't know. I should know the answer to that, but I don't. And then they look for the answer and they go, fuck, I didn't know I thought that. Or as they say it out loud, I go, that's a good point. And they go, yeah, but I didn't know I thought that until I said it. And I'm like, cool. Imagine the implications of that in your life. So a lot of our thinking is invisible. That's almost the benefit of any form of good coaching, is we're kind of extracting, same as a book, the same as a podcast, right? You're extracting for yourself, really, in some ways. You know, these questions come out at you. I ask questions, as you know. I stop and ask questions in this format for this reason, right? Because we're exploring, you know, what are the thoughts that are controlling your life? And also, what are the invisible thoughts that are controlling your life? Obviously, they're invisible, but once they become visible, you see them and you go, oh, that's what that penny drop moment is. That's what that, holy shit. I sometimes get goosebumps. Sometimes I get a wave of kind of, it feels like goosebumps that wave over. Sometimes actually I can get hit by emotion. I've had it with clients where they suddenly feel like they want to cry. And if they're men, which they usually are, they want to try and hide the fact that they feel like they want to cry and hope I don't notice. And we don't even know why. Like something is just, we've just hit a nerve there. Something, there's a penny drop, there's an aha, there's an insight, as I call it. It's, wow. Sometimes it's less than that. Sometimes it's really obvious. It's like, oh, you dickhead. Duh. You know, I know this. I've got a client that is a coach. And he's like, I know this. I've got another new client, who I say new, in the last month or so. Another client I shouldn't have fit into my diary, but I did. And he's like, and he'd never had coaching before. He's like, there's not really anything mind-blowing. No, not mind-blowing. There's not anything groundbreaking about any of this. It's really obvious stuff, but it's stuff that I know that I've forgotten, or I know but I didn't know that I knew, or it's stuff that I know but I've not applied. And that's the thing with this. Sometimes it can be like that. It can be common sense. It can be really obvious and simple stuff, yet somehow that can make a massive difference to our life, right? It's like, I don't know, don't quote me on the specifics. If you fly from London to, say, New York, I think if your flight path is 1 degree out, you land in LA or something crazy like that. A real fucking big difference. Well, if you know that, if you didn't know that, you'd keep going, how the fuck are we in LA? Why am I here? And then we can make that mean something. I'm such a fucking dickhead. I'm not any good at flying. My life's shit. The universe doesn't want me to land in New York and it's punishing me. Or once we know, you go, oh, yeah, I was 1 degree out. Well, now it becomes really simple, right? You go, okay, well, if we wasn't 1 degree out, then what? Well, then we would land where we want to land. So if I adjust the flight path this way, will I land there? And you might try that and find you still don't land there. And then you go, oh, fucking hell, well, what happened there? And you might realise that, as far as I know, I'm not a pilot. You have to just course correct as you go. The wind can knock you off, etc. Anyway, I have no idea what I'm talking about. But this works. The metaphor works. So we're going to go with it. So once you see that new, that's just a thought. Oh, the 1 degree out. It's a thought. It's an insight. It's a, oh, you dickhead. I didn't know that. Or I forgot. Yeah, I put my feet up, put it on autopilot. That won't work because it probably flies itself. Put my feet up, was reading a book and I forgot to do it. Like sometimes it's really obvious and simple stuff. Sometimes it's shit that we just haven't really connected the dots on. You know, like if someone says, I really want to, I really want to learn more about this, James. I really want to understand my thoughts and emotions. Why? And I haven't even answered that question sometimes. You know, or what impact is it having on you to carry on as you are? How is this impacting you? How is it impacting your relationship, your health, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual health? How is it impacting your business? How is it impacting the people in your business, your staff, your kids? Often this is secondary thinking that they haven't connected the dots on. Holy shit, I didn't really think about how that was impacting this or that or this or that. So sometimes it's really obvious thought pathways we just haven't explored, right? So anyway, getting back to me course correcting right now to get back on the track of where I thought this podcast was going to go. As you know, they're not scripted, so I never truly know. Once we see that our thoughts, both conscious or unconscious, are shaping our world, we can then look in this direction of exploration, to exploring our thinking, exploring ourselves, exploring our worldview. What does success mean to me? What do I want to achieve next year? Why do I want to achieve that? Why do I give a shit? What happens if I don't? What impact is this having? What impact do I think it's going to have? And also noticing that our thoughts are a load of bullshit anyway. They're made up. They're stories, they're predictions, they're assumptions. Even seeing that alone can change the world, change your life, because you're no longer so afraid of your thinking because you realize you're making it up, right? And if we make up a positive future, it feels exciting. If we make up a negative future, it feels anxious. That word doesn't fit, but it feels anxiety filled. There's not a word that kind of sits nicely there, but we predict a positive future and live in the present like it's true. We feel excited, we feel alive, we feel buzzed, we feel confident. If we predict a negative future and we live in the present moment like that's true, we'll feel anxiety, worried, panic, disheartened, procrastinate. The only difference here is the thoughts. So, some people go down the wrong path here. I say the wrong path, but less useful path of trying to control their thinking or hack their thinking or shout over the top of their negative thinking or shout them like affirmations in the mirror over the top of their negative thinking, when actually if we just fuck all of that stuff off, because there's nothing useful about that. If your head is already busy like mine, shouting over the top of it or arguing with yourself is a road to nowhere. It's a road to anger and frustration. Just noticing that all thoughts are a lie, but some of it is useful to believe. We're making it up. And we'll continue to do it for the rest of our life. But once you know that, at least you're looking in the right direction. Fucking hell, I've got caught in my thinking again. That'll be a conversation you and I probably have for the rest of your life. But you just get caught in it less and less and less. And it might not last as long. And you might not act on your thoughts as much as you used to, which means that whilst you may have thought something, at least you didn't do anything, fuck anything up, or go in the wrong direction. The next thing is insight. Insight, for me, is new thinking. It's seeing something differently. I hadn't seen that this way before. I hadn't thought about that before. That's really obvious. Fucking hell, I can't believe I've been doing this. Your behaviour changes and you don't know why. And it's quite simple. If you were driving a certain way to work and it was taking you an hour and it was full of traffic and it was a really shit journey, and one day, either I told you or you discovered for yourself a route that actually cut out all of the traffic and took half the time, how many times would you go back to the old route? Or would it just look obvious to you now to take the new route? Take the new route, it's quicker. Why would you not? But that's how this works. Once you see that you being a dick in your relationship is not making you happy and it means you don't get as much sex as you'd like and your wife thinks you're a dick, it stops making sense to be a dick, right? Once you see that, I don't know, like laying in bed until 1 a.m, scrolling Facebook is making you tired and aggy, and once you really truly see that, how long until it stops making sense to do that? right? And I know sometimes it is this simple, sometimes it doesn't look this simple, which is where the exploration comes in. But insight is that. And sometimes it can be really deep as well. It can be. And I quite like deep coaching, where you realize that you've been carrying some baggage, some emotional kind of baggage from kids. You've had some kind of experience in your past, or you've made something up as truth along this journey of life, and you've been holding that kind of subconsciously for a long time. Sometimes there's that. Sometimes we get this kind of deeper emotional release, but at the core of it, well, the reason I'm sharing this is, and the reason it might sound more complicated, possibly, I don't know if this sounds more complicated to you or not, is because I am now trying to talk for all humans, right? I'm trying to talk collectively for every human. How does this work? And I'm giving all these different examples as to where I might look if you happen to be sat in front of me, or if someone was. Whereas in practice, it's much simpler because it's easier when someone is in front of me. Hence why I like coaching or group coaching, because when someone is in front of me on a screen and I can ask questions, it becomes incredibly simple because I haven't got to keep guessing and giving all these examples. It's like, it's really simple to see. But the reason I'm sharing this on a podcast, which means you can't speak to me unless you want to somehow, is because what I'm saying is, if you want an awesome year next year, if you want to change, the place to look is your thinking. The place to look is your thinking in an explorative and playful way. Just get really intrigued by yourself, your thoughts, your actions, the way you do things or why you do things. Get really curious. And you can do it with other people as well. Next time someone does something that you think is stupid, just get really curious. Why? Why would they do that? What would they have to be thinking in order to do that? What do I think? And again, we're just playfully playing around. It's not truth. But what do I think they're feeling or thinking? What do they see in order to do that? What do they not see? What are they not seeing? What is a 20-stone person that says they want to lose weight? What are they not seeing that means they continually struggle? What are they not seeing? And what do they think they're seeing that's making them stay there? If someone is broke or pessimistic or whatever other, thing we could judge as negative, excuse me, what are they seeing? Or what are they not seeing? If someone's in a shit abusive relationship and they're not getting out of it, or a shit job that they're not getting out of, or their business isn't growing, or what are they not seeing? And what do they think they're seeing that's keeping them in this cycle? What thoughts are they having? What emotions are they having? What looks true to them? And we can apply this to ourselves, right? If you are not doing something, if you're not evolving, not moving forward, not growing, same questions for yourself, right? If you're not in the shape that you want to be in, or your bank balance doesn't look where you want it to be, or your relationship isn't as good, or you feel lost and confused, you don't know where you're going now, or you're not happy and you don't know why, or same questions, right? Just get super fucking curious about your thinking. Your thoughts are literally your map of the world. Just get really curious and playful and interested and intrigued by this landscape that you're making up. Like, if this is the Matrix, like in all the green code, well, you are the coder. You just don't know it sometimes. You are coding your reality. With every thought, every action, every thought, every behavior. As an example, right? If I wake up and I think that I can't be asked to do this podcast, because what's the fucking point? No one cares. It's December. Who gives a shit? Now, if I knew I thought that, but I didn't know what I know, that might mean I'm not here doing this. If I knew that I thought that because I saw that I thought it, but I know what I know, I'd think, they're funny thoughts, and I'd be here anyway. Except for if I wasn't, right? If I didn't know I thought that, well, then I wouldn't be here, and I probably wouldn't even know why I'm not here, and maybe I'd beat myself up. So this is what I'm trying to say. Just get super fucking curious about yourself, your life, your world, because that is the only thing that's going to change the game for any human. If they fail to look in the direction of their thinking, That's why I love this work, right? Because it's the only fucking thing that matters, truly. We are experiencing our world via this brain in our head, via our thinking, via consciousness, thought, and deeper mind. They are the three principles that you hear me talk about. And yeah, we can expand on them, but that is how our world is created and experienced. I can't live my life inside your head. You can't live your life inside of mine. You know, if I get in a car, I experience that car via my senses. If I go and get naked and run through the high street, I'm experiencing that via my senses, my thoughts, my perceptions, my emotions, my feelings. Everything is experienced via ourselves, and everything is created via ourselves. Either I'm here doing a podcast or I'm not. Either I'm doing a program in Jan or I'm not. Either I'm turning up to clients, getting paid and doing a good job, or I'm not, right? And if I'm not doing any of those things, I'm either homeless and broke or I'm not. Like, we are just central to our entire life. And the only thing that's going to make any fucking difference in anyone's life in terms of any of it is their ability to think a certain way, take certain actions, and experience something a certain way. Now, we can go deeper because obviously, you know, is there a deeper wisdom to humans? Is there a deeper intelligence? Is there this universal energy? Is there law of attraction? Is there something beyond ourselves? Is there a certain flow to life that we can fight against or go with? You know, if we look at certain things, you know, Taoism, or I'm reading the Tai De Jing or whatever it's called. Anyway, forget that. Which is quite cool. And I feel like I've gone off on one here, and I feel like this is a very long episode, actually. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Maybe some things to think about. Maybe not. I'll let you decide. And I'll put a link somewhere. So if you fancy joining in Jan, and if you're listening to this beyond December or beyond Jan, and the link is still there, then maybe I'm running it again, or maybe I'm not, so who knows. Anyway, I appreciate you being here. This was a longer one, a little Christmas special for you, maybe. Have a good Christmas if you are listening to this pre-Christmas. If you're listening post, then I hope you had a good one. I will speak to you soon.